everyone, welcome to my book channel. I'm Zen Lu and today I'm putting together my October TBR. Spooky season is probably my favorite time of the year, so for next month I've put together a lot of mystery, thriller, and horror books that are perfect to put you into that fall, winter, Halloween-y kind of mood. This is probably one of my most exciting TBRs all year, and I have definitely been looking forward to these books for quite a while. Let's get right into it. Let's begin with the title that I think has to be very first on this list, and that is A Haunting in Venice by Agatha Christie. What better way to kick off spooky season than with Agatha Christie, who is the most widely published author in the entire world. She had sold more than 1 billion copies of her books in over 100 languages. A truly beloved, I would say, godmother of modern mystery and thriller writing. Perfectly fitting with the theme, this story begins at a Halloween party where a 13-year-old boasts that she had once saw a murder. However, no one believes her. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, her body was found, and the amazing detective Poirot had to solve this mystery and reveal the truth behind this death at a Halloween party. In fact, this book was originally published under the title Halloween Party, and A Haunting in Venice was the title of the motion picture that was adapted based on this book. In the past, I have read And Then There Were None and The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie, and I loved both of them. And I am always up for reading more mystery from this amazing author. Next, I have another classic mystery that's perhaps a little less well known than Agatha Christie, but it is nonetheless fundamental and influential for the genre, and that is The Daughter of Time by Josephine Tey. Josephine Tey was born in 1896 and passed away in 1952. So her work coincided with what's considered the golden era of British crime writing, which is between 1920 and 1950. Her stories are known for not following the conventions of detective storytelling, but rather having their own unique style and inherent mystery that really stand the test of time and continue to sell very well for decades after her passing. In this story, an inspector of the Scotland Yard was recuperating from a broken leg, and while confined to his hospital bed, he sought to unravel the mystery of Richard III and whether he actually did kill his brother's children to secure his crown. The title of this novel comes from a proverb that says, "Truth is the daughter of time," and I can't wait to find out how the protagonist arrives at said truth solely based on the workings of his own mind. Following those two classic mysteries, I have yet another one, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is one of those bucket list books that I have always wanted to read, and I think I actually picked up this book while thrifting during Christmas travel. I think I've had it on my shelf for about 2 years, and this October is the time when I finally tackle this modern classic. This is the classic tale that was adapted into a Hitchcock film where our heroine was swept off her feet by a wealthy widower and moved into his mansion, Manderley. However, her life there was haunted by memories of his previous wife, Rebecca, who had passed away, but she seems to have left a lingering presence at Manderley and influenced all of the people there. This is a gothic, atmospheric tale where you feel haunted by a ghostly presence around every corner. I did already watch the Hitchcock adaptation quite a few years ago, and I loved it. I thought it was truly a masterpiece of classic cinema, and I can't wait to dive into the original masterpiece that inspired it all. And following those classics, I have yet another genre-defining author of mystery and thriller writing, and that is Shirley Jackson. I have here The Lottery and Other Stories, which is her short story collection. I still remember the first time that I read The Lottery and the absolute chills it gave me. I do think that it is considered one of the best short stories ever written, so I highly recommend that you check it out if you haven't already. In this collection, there are 25 eerie stories written by the author that gave us The Haunting of Hill House, and I think of it as kind of an advent calendar of horror stories. It will keep me well occupied and entertained throughout the month of October, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Next, I have a fantasy mystery from an author that recently became a viral sensation, and that is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. I have been looking forward to this story ever since I read The Tainted Cup and absolutely loved it. But my TBRs since finishing that book had just been packed full of books and I have not gotten to this one. And October would be the perfect time to read it. Coincidentally, the detective Anna Delabra of this series is a bit like the protagonist of The Daughter of Time that I just mentioned, where she doesn't leave her room and only uses her mental deduction power to solve mysteries and murder cases with the assistance of Dinius Cole. And Dinius Cole is biologically enhanced to not forget anything. He is called an engraver in this world, and he could just go to murder scenes and observe the crime scene and remember every single detail that he had seen and remember every word of dialogue that he has had while interviewing witnesses. And he brings all of his observations back to Anna, and together they solve yet another mystery in this fantasy series. This story is a locked room mystery where someone had disappeared from a heavily guarded tower where all the windows and doors were locked. And the dynamic duo of Anna and Cole will be solving this mystery in a world that's filled with magic and political intrigue. I can't wait to dive into this story. Next, I have another modern classic horror, and that is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. Junji Ito is a renowned horror manga artist, and I have previously read his, I guess you can say, short story collection called Shiver. And my impression of this artist is that he is very good at creating unique premises that just absorbs the reader into a very immense sense of atmospheric horror, and he is a master of cosmic horror. So he's very good at portraying just unseen forces in the world that are beyond human comprehension and control that are very terrifying to contemplate. In this story, a coastal town is haunted by a hypnotic pattern of spirals, and it's kind of continuing his style of cosmic horror. So I can't wait to tuck into this beautiful and terrifying illustration. Next, I have a few mystery thrillers that are more like popcorn reads. They are contemporary offerings that I'm very excited to tuck into. The first one is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. So this book was adapted into a film that will be released in October, and I'm very excited to read the book before seeing the film. In this story, a crime writer goes on a cruise ship called Aurora, where she was supposed to write about the maiden voyage of this cruise ship, but one day she saw a woman's body disappear under the waves. However, all of the passengers on this ship are accounted for. So how would the author solve this impossible mystery? I'm very excited to find out. Next, I have a couple of mystery thrillers that kind of slipped through the cracks of my previous TBRs. So I had meant to read these two books earlier in the year, but I just ended up reading something different during those months. And now I want to finish these books that I had planned to read. The first one is The Snowman by Jo Nesbo. I had originally meant to read this book in March, but then with the International Booker Prize and Women's Prize being announced, I was kind of taking more time reading award-nominated books, and this one kind of got left on the back burner. So this is the story of a little boy whose mother had disappeared, and after her disappearance, a snowman appeared in their yard wearing the scarf that he had gifted to his mother. And she was not the only missing woman in this story, so Detective Harry Hole have to link these disappearances together and solve the mystery. Another previously planned mystery thriller that I didn't get to was Out by Natsuo Kirino. So this is a translated Japanese mystery where a young mother had killed her abusive husband and asked a co-worker to help her dispose of the body. And apparently this killing was merely the beginning, and this story will further dive into the violent underbelly of Japanese society. So those are the books that I've planned so far to read in October, but I am actually going secondhand book shopping soon, so I might even add something else to my October reading, depending on how it goes. I'm really looking forward to these books. I feel like in the past few months, I read a lot of literary fictions, kind of award nominees, that kind of books that have, I guess, a little bit heavier and denser themes that you have to kind of parse out, and they're more about character or thematic critique critique or social commentary than it is about plot. So this month I have some absolute page turners. A few of them are more kind of lighthearted popcorn reads. I think these will make for a very enjoyable and entertaining reading month, and I'm absolutely looking forward to it. So I hope you've enjoyed this TBR, and please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this selection and what you are planning to read in October. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.